All right, everybody, welcome back. HSC Podcast 132. Big Box Steve on the mic, Big Smooth and Fresh Wes. Coming off another big week in the NFL, but a huge college week. So we'll get talking into that. So don't forget to subscribe and like. Any comments? Any coming up here after football? We'll definitely need some topics. So Wes is going back and forth. You don't even know what direction he's going. All right. Well, typically I'd like to jump into football, NFL first, but given we're coming off conference championships and got the playoff bracket, let's jump into college football first. So let's start with the conference championship games. Friday night, UNLV, Boise State. I don't think that went any other way than people thought it would go.
Yeah, it was pretty much over. It was just like Boise State just scored, and it's 21-7, and then they said, "And we're just gonna that's the game."
Yeah, going up 21 nothing early, it's real hard to come back from that in the second half.
Well, especially with Boise State running the ball so much, so you can't really.
All right. Then Arizona State, Iowa State. So that's Big 12 championship. Arizona State wins 45-19.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, Derek, last week we talked about this. You picked Iowa State.
I was wrong.
So how did Arizona State come out? They just, kind of blew the doors off them.
Yeah, they got a really exciting offense, and with what Scatbro or Scatabo or
God,
Skibbity
bro.
Scap Scap.
Dude, that is my favorite player now. Gadabo. My jersey is in the mail.
I mean, he's a beast. I mean, you got to admit, where he runs, he's
Dude, you know those
he,
runs I was like, are you kidding me? Like you're not that big. I mean, he's big, but man,
so
5'11".
how does that translate to the NFL for him?
Well, that I
Yeah,
don't think
You're
I
not
don't
running
think
over everybody in the NFL.
I mean, you never know with how, he could be like a fourth or fifth round pick, but then be pretty good. We'd have just to see what he gets at
I'll take him.
quarterback. I mean,
Well, what I mean though, so I'm more talking about running style, right? So when you look at like Genti, for example, he translates to the NFL because he's got, his running style has all aspects. He can juke, he can run over you, he can run around you. Scadboo, honestly, he's a power runner.
Mhm.
And how does that translate in the NFL? Because you're running over Big 12 guys, not
Well,
NFL guys.
the
Well,
problem is,
well, I was gonna say, I mean, he could be like David Montgomery, right? Or
Yeah,
Pacheco.
Montgomery, he's good. He's good. It's a good comparison.
yeah. I mean, I don't know how he is as a blocking back. I haven't watched. That was the first time I saw him last week. I was just laughing. I was like, because I heard they've been talking about him for about a week. Like, you haven't seen this guy. Like, he's pretty tough. I was like, I watched him like, dude, this is kind of funny. He's fun to watch, but you know, he's he's still how much he bulked up, from his sophomore year to his senior. He bulked up a lot. It's pretty impressive how he built up his body. He's a tough runner, but you know, to me, he's more like an all-star, but you don't know if he can block. You know, he's a tailback. You know, but in the NFL, he's not a tailback. I don't think it's going to translate. Who
Yeah,
knows?
that's tough, but he's definitely carrying them, and I think that's helpful going into the playoff for them because none of these teams particularly have like super defenses.
Oh no.
And he's the type of guy that could run for 150 yards in a playoff game.
Yeah.
So you can't really take Arizona State lightly. I mean, they have to outscore you though when you're going to start playing like the Penn States or the Texas, the higher ranked
Oh yeah.
teams. But and so who do they have? They have either
Texas or Clemson.
Texas or Clemson.
It's gonna be Texas or Clemson, and you know the one thing about Texas annoys me because their offense is terrible, but their defense, those guys are good. Their defense is stout. Like they're probably not going to put up with that crap. If they beat Clemson, which I'm assuming they'll beat Clemson, like they're going to load the box against him. Like that's the last dude that's going to stop us.
Yeah,
right. No.
So where does Texas? This again, we'll go off topic a second. Where does Texas rank though, as far as like the playoff teams defensive wise? Are they number one?
Well, to me, Georgia's a little better, but Texas, those athletes. I mean, just watching the game, watching their linebackers run, it's like they're track athletes. Like they're that fast and they're big. Like those linebackers are coming at you. It's like, yes, they're to me, they're better than Oregon's defense because they're just athletic. They're big and athletic.
So you think that that shuts down an Arizona State offense running the ball?
It should, but you never know.
And they're not going to do a lot throwing the ball.
Well, their quarterback is pretty crafty. He can run. They lost their best receiver, of course, but they got some good targets. I mean, they threw the ball well. It's hard to tell. I haven't seen enough of them to really, but they just whooped Iowa State.
Yeah, it was not close. That game was. I mean, it was not right at the beginning, but once they got in a roll, their quarterback scored, and then Scadbo scored, and then it was just like all downhill from there.
Yeah.
And I think, Derek, we talked about that last week when, we were talking about this game, and I said if Arizona State can get out early, they could win, pretty handily. So I think when you look at that game, that's kind of what happened is Iowa State just couldn't catch up.
Right.
It was a fun game to watch. I don't know how much you guys watched of it, but it was fun to watch. Let's go. Next game would be Texas, Georgia. That was the midday game, SEC championship.
Gunner Stockton.
If you had to pick, though, think about that, though. If you picked preseason SEC, who would play in the championship? Would you have not have picked Texas and Georgia?
I mean, you would also put Alabama in there, right? I mean,
yeah. I thought I thought Alabama.
Yeah.
would be better. I thought they would win the SEC, but obviously they just were not that great this year.
Yeah, but it's not like a surprise it's Georgia, Texas.
No, I think with Texas joining from where they came from and what their roster looked like, they had a pretty good chance of playing in this game.
Yeah.
However, the game itself was horrible.
It was very sloppy.
Sloppy, bad play calling. Not a lot of miscues, especially on offense. The defenses played all right.
Oh, both those defenses are top five. Maybe they're not top five statistically, but they're top five talent wise. They got after both quarterbacks, and yours looked nervous the whole time, and he played nervous, and that's why they lost. He's just not a very confident quarterback at all.
So how is Kubernetes going to handle that? Texas Clemson with that getting that pressure from Texas.
He's not.
He's not like because their offense really has to have the balance, otherwise they're really bad. When they're not running the ball with Maffa, if he's not getting 75 yards and then they're not throwing, for 250, they're real bad.
Probably gonna be another ugly game, just like Texas A&M. It was ugly with Texas. This last game's ugly. It's like everyone thinks Sark is such an offensive genius. No, he's not. He's not that good. Like you should get the ball outside the tackle box so you don't have to run up the middle all the time. You know?
I mean, you look at Texas, they got two pretty good running backs and Weisner and Blue.
Yeah.
Their wide receivers are good, so they got a couple good wide receivers there. And then they got two good quarterbacks. Like I don't understand why their offense. You put up 19 points against Georgia, and that's in overtime.
I mean, that's what happened. It's not like we're talking about, Texas playing,
Vanderbilt.
yeah, or something
Job
like that.
Alabama.
I mean, they're playing it like Wes said. It was two monster defenses.
Yeah.
So game is going to look ugly because the defenses are better than the offenses. So I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty much think the Texas is going to be in the Final Four.
Still riding that defense wins championships wave.
Well, I just think that I don't think
Uh,
Clemson's offense is that good.
yeah. So I mean,
And
Texas. Yeah, their route is great. That's why you're saying Final Four because they
There's too many athletes and 5-star players on Texas to think they're just gonna lose to Clemson.
right, and
That's
then they
just
play
not-
Arizona State.
Yeah. Well,
So
I think Arizona State's a nice story, but if they can contain Scadaboo, they're gonna win. If they can't, they're gonna lose.
right.
We don't. I mean, honestly, we don't really know how good they are.
No, but let's not forget Arizona State is, a Pac-12 team. It's not they're not a scrub.
No,
right. But they were a middling Pac-12 team.
Yeah, but they've had their good years too. They're not top of the Pac-12 for, the last 30 years, sure, but they've had their times.
this is the team that had Jane Daniels initially for years, right?
And Antonio Pierce coaching them too.
Yeah.
How'd that work out also.
It's like this dude.
Well, don't pull out
transferred
Jake
out
the
of
Snake Plummer. Come
Yeah.
on.
It's like, and then he becomes an Heisman, and he's a great quarterback for Washington. He transferred out of there because the program was so bad. And Dillian, he turned it around, in a short period of time. You got to give the dude credit. Is he the youngest D1 coach? He's 34 years old.
What do you guys think about this, right? So this game, I mean, as I'm hearing you talking about this, kind of will epitomize the SEC and what everybody, why the SEC is always better or gets, more looks and is ranked higher, things like that, right? Because if Texas goes in there and beats Arizona State handily, exactly what you guys are just saying is they're just bigger, stronger, faster, more recruits. That kind of justifies the SEC being, looked at a different light.
Well, and then to take it one step further, if Texas goes in there and annihilates them, then what are you going to hear? Alabama should have made it even with 3 losses.
Right.
They're an SEC team. They should have made it, which I hate. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm tired of well, this team is a better team. Well, then win more games. I mean, Arizona State, SMU, Boise State all earn their way in because they have what? 2 or 1 loss, right?
Well, that's another conversation that I heard about today. about how they're throwing shade on Boise State because oh yeah, well Mountain West gets a bye. Did you hear that?
Yeah,
Well,
well, because they're looking at, not strength of schedule by team, they're looking at by conference.
yeah, they're not looking at an eye test because if I'm looking, who's the Oregon's toughest competition they've had all year? It was Boise State.
Yeah, they won by 3.
Right. And it was because, and Boise State could have won that game easily.
Oh yeah. They kind of choked it.
Yeah. And it was at Oregon.
Well, that's probably what the committee was. Well, they don't really have a choice because Clemson beat out SMU.
Right.
And that's why you have what we have now. But everyone's like crying about all day.
Well,
I'm thinking,
Arizona State is the one that benefited the most from that because Boise State, they were kind of already set there.
Right. Arizona State got in because SMU lost.
Right. Or it got the bye.
Got the bye is what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that irritates me also is everyone is like, whoa, man, Penn State got the easiest route.
against Wednesday, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sorry. Is Penn State going to even beat SMU? I don't even know about that. And I wouldn't, they're like, Penn State would be favored. I'm like, I wouldn't take them over Boise State.
No, I wouldn't either.
So, no, and so yeah, statistically, Penn State has an easy route. I think Texas has the best route because
Oregon has the worst.
I mean, Oregon does have a tough route because
I'm looking pointing Portland, Oregon screwed by the CFP committee. That's what they're saying.
I know. Here's the thing. For me, Oregon doesn't matter who they play. They will beat themselves or they'll win. That's what's going to come down to. Nobody's going to come in and beat Oregon. Oregon will beat themselves. And Dan Lanning will be the cheerleader of that because he's the worst coach. So I don't care who Oregon plays. Like, I don't think they got screwed either way. It doesn't matter for them. What I think matters for a team like Texas is after you just played a tough game in the SEC championship, you got to go right back to playing again. You don't get a bye, but to draw Clemson and Arizona State, that's really nice for them.
Yeah.
Well, be careful what you wish for, because again, the great unknown is Arizona State. We don't know how good they are, and nobody does. We know how good Oregon is. They are number one. They're undefeated, but if your defense is going to play like that in the Rose Bowl, you're going to lose. Penn State put up 38 on you. That's a problem because Penn State doesn't have skill power like Ohio State does. Like, you better play better defense,
Well, they got to stop the run so either team comes in, whether it's Iowa State or Tennessee, Tennessee's going to run Samson 25 times, or Ohio State's going to split 25 runs between, their two backs. So if Oregon has to stop the run against whichever team they play, if they do that, neither of those teams have the ability to stop their offense. So Oregon, to me, has a good chance.
of course. But the most on those top four teams, the team that has the most talent on both sides of the ball is Georgia. They just always have a question at quarterback. Now we don't know who their quarterback's going to be.
Yeah,
they might be better with Gunner.
Let's do the Georgia tree real quick. Yeah, let's do the Georgia tree. I like this branch off because let's talk Notre Dame, Indiana first. It's like, what do you guys think of that game?
It'll be interesting because that's an interesting one also because of the fact that they're both from Indiana.
That's
fun.
Yeah.
So,
how do they match up?
The ticket price is $1,000 a ticket for that game.
That's
It's
crazy.
$500 more than any of the other games.
Really? I
Those
thought
are
it
the
was.
bowl games.
I thought the Tennessee one was the highest.
It was like 500
Well,
something.
last time I checked, it was 800.
Well, it probably went up in the last couple of hours. They're just showing this like at 10 o'clock.
I would rather watch though the Indiana and Notre Dame game than the Tennessee Ohio State. I actually don't think Tennessee stands a chance against Ohio State.
Nah, too much. That's a lot to ask to go in there and beat them. Especially, they're going to be super motivated because they lost to Michigan, and Day's job is on the line, and they just have too much talent.
Yeah. Well, what it is Tennessee's game, really relies on Samson, running 20, 25 times and getting 100 yards. And I don't think Ohio State's defense is going to give that up.
Plus, you want to see Ohio State, Oregon in a Rose Bowl again,
right?
Right?
Well, I do. I definitely do because Oregon has to prove it.
I know, but I want it to be like the old Rose Bowl.
Yeah, you get the old Big Ten, Pac-12 or Pac-10.
That's why you have the brackets the way they are. Even though, like, okay, let's say, that quarterback, I can't even pronounce his last name.
Nico
Amalava. Like he's great, but he makes mistakes. He can win that game. He has to limit his mistakes. He can't turn the ball over.
Yeah, because he's good. He's good on the move, right? He's good on the run. He gets a lot of rushing yards, which makes it hard when he's getting out of the pocket. But he's just not completing enough passes.
Yeah, it's a tall order.
So let's jump back to Indiana Notre Dame because neither of you guys answered. Like, who's going to win that game?
I'm going to go Indiana.
Well, give me a reasoning for that.
Any given Saturday or Sunday or whatever. I mean, what?
Yeah.
They have a really good offense. We'll just see, and it's Notre Dame in the playoffs. How have they done? If we're going to talk history, Marcus Freeman might be thinking about the Bears right now. Who knows? I just think Indiana has something to prove. Everyone thinks, oh, they played nobody and they got crushed by Ohio State.
So you think they're going to come out a lot of attitude because they really only lost the one game, right? Talent-wise, Indiana Notre Dame, how do you compare them?
Well, I mean, Notre Dame has more talent, but they had more talent than Northern Illinois also. So,
well, Indiana brought in a lot of talent though with them, with their coach. James Madison, who arguably was like this crazy, could have been a Division I team. All their players transferred.
Right. Yeah, I think Indiana because it's in Indiana. I mean, it's in South Bend, but it's not like fans of Indiana can't get there.
Yeah.
Well,
but if you're in Indiana football, you're usually a Notre Dame
fan. Yeah, well, maybe not now.
They're stealing the Indiana fans because Indiana football has not been good.
No, but Notre Dame football hasn't been. It's not Lou Holtz coming out that tunnel.
Yeah,
I don't see the Rocket Ishmael or Tim Brown, coming out that tunnel.
Well,
it's not the same Notre Dame.
Riley Leonard is pretty ridiculous, and their running back too. What's his name?
Love, Jeremiah.
Love. Yeah, Love he's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, that's to me, Notre Dame, that's their defense that could actually be elite in the playoff. I mean, Leonard is going to make plays. Love, of course, this is Notre Dame. They don't have a lot of skill. They don't. So you're not going to wow people with their skill position players, but their defense is something They
Yeah.
get past Indiana. I think they'll beat Indiana. The question is, how do they match up against Georgia if they beat them?
Right, right. So that's
And
kind of
that's
the
and
end of the tree.
big
But
right there. It's like I think physically they're a physical football team like Georgia is. They just don't have a lot of skill. So you're going to put a lot on Leonard. And if Leonard can be like, if he can run, if he can actually get, you know, through a defensive line, yeah, they got a chance. But Indiana is scrappy though. I mean, I wouldn't put anything past Indiana winning that football game. I'm just saying.
Notre Dame, you look at them, definitely you're right. Their defense is top three in points against. Their offense is top three in points for. So they have both sides of the ball. They played four top 25 teams.
Yeah.
They're not great top 25 teams that they played, so I don't put a ton of weight in that. But they have a good looking offense and their defense is solid. You're right. I mean, I guess I'd have to take Notre Dame there too. So we got two Notre Dames and a and a Indiana, but the Georgia is the interesting matchup here. So whether it's Indiana or Notre Dame, let's think about this either way. Do either of those teams match up for Georgia?
No, Georgia beats people. And they actually, if you look at it, in a way, when they were talking about Oregon got screwed, they did because it seems like everyone else has an easier road.
Yeah.
And I feel like Georgia has the easiest
Yeah, because
of
you
the teams with the buys.
think about Georgia, right? I agree. I don't think Notre Dame or Indiana will probably beat them. So now the Georgia moves on. They potentially will play SMU, Penn State, or Boise State to go to the championship game.
Well, I mean, and in Georgia's gonna play in the Sugar Bowl. It's kind of their region. You're probably gonna have, you got Indiana and Notre Dame coming down, and the type of football they play, they hit in the mouth, and you either respond or you don't respond, and it doesn't matter how ugly their quarterbacks look. They just have talent, they have 5-star talent all over the field. You know, they're gonna 9 times out of 10 they're gonna beat you. You know, is that one time you're gonna get lucky and beat them? Maybe, but overall, they're gonna beat you.
Well, so if you're talking though about just in general, not even this year, because Boise State normally wouldn't be in this conversation, but if historically we had a conversation, we said Georgia's playing Boise State, Georgia's playing Penn State, Georgia's playing SMU. You're how many times you taken Georgia every time I say that?
Oh, every time.
Right.
I mean, I mean, it's like the Empire Strikes Back against the Rebels. I mean, I'm gonna take it. It's easy money, but of course, Boise State can get in there and get lucky and beat them once. Question is that going to happen in the playoffs?
Right.
Well, look at history. How many times has Boise State play? Because they don't play mid-major. Once they do, then they play a Goliath. What usually happens?
They
Boise
strike
State
him
beats the
down.
Goliath.
They strike him down.
I mean, think about it. I mean,
It's
you
gonna
had
be fun to
Oklahoma.
watch. Think about it.
So
It's
How
gonna be
many
fun.
how many
Okay.
times did Boise State beat Oregon?
So let's say we get then Boise State, Georgia in the Orange Bowl playing for who goes to championship. Are you
That's
saying
just
you're taking Boise State?
stupid.
No, because I don't trust Matson.
I don't like the quarterback. No.
Yeah, I don't like the quarterback.
Okay.
If it was
So,
like an old school, like no, like if it was a Kellen Moore or a Zamransky or something like that, then I'd be like, okay.
but we're
But they
kind of in
have,
agreement then at this point that Georgia, they definitely have the easiest route.
yeah.
Because now we're talking Oregon, Ohio State potentially, Texas, even if they do wipe out Arizona State, then they have to play Oregon or Ohio State, which you don't play either of those teams. So now
Yeah.
you got Texas, Oregon, or Ohio State, and then Georgia's over here playing Boise State.
Yeah.
Which this year it's not the easiest win, I'll grant you that. But man, if I'm Georgian, you told me at the beginning of the year that you had to be either Boise State, Penn State, or SMU and get to the championship game, I'd be happy with that.
All right. It is looking at the bracket, the left side, the right side is stacked with
Right.
Ohio State, Tennessee, Texas, Clemson, Oregon, right? If you think about, if you're talking history,
Yeah. It
that's
wouldn't even
the
be close because you add in Indiana and SMU on the other side, those teams, they haven't been non-existent.
right. When I'm just talking the last 20 years,
Yeah.
if you said Ohio State, Texas, Oregon, Tennessee, and Clemson on one side, with Arizona State would be like last easily.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, Notre Dame, Indiana, Penn State, SMU, Boise State, Georgia. I bet you though, like in the last 20 years, you would still go Georgia, then Boise State, then Penn State, right? And then Notre Dame or Notre Dame and Penn. It would be
Yeah. Be close
Georgia
between.
1, Boise State 2.
Yeah.
Where on the other side, are you taking Ohio State 1? Are you taking Texas 1? Are you taking Clemson 1? Right? You have a bunch of ones.
Yeah. Clemson
Oregon.
has a good argument for a one. Even though they're a 12, right? In this
Yeah.
bracket,
Pedigree wise.
yeah, they're Clemson, dude. They got multiple national championships.
Yeah. Yeah, the pedigree is on the right side of the bracket.
Yeah. Then that's what I'm saying. Even Arizona State, the worst team on the side, is still was a decent Pac-12 team.
Right. Yeah, but if you switch them and I guess put them on the other side, they would still be last or second to last.
Oh. Well, let's pick our finals here then. Let's here we go. HSC Podcast College Football Playoff Winners and Losers. We'll go game by game. So let's start with Texas Clemson. I got Texas.
Yeah, Texas.
Texas.
Tennessee, Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Yeah, Ohio State.
Oh man. Yeah, Ohio State.
Well, you got to
SMU.
realize this too. They're home games for these teams. It's not
Yeah.
like a bowl game. They're
Yeah, it's
playing at
not
home.
really fair.
Yeah.
Penn State, SMU. I'm taking Penn State.
Yeah. I want to take SMU, but it's at college. It's in Penn State, and they're doing a whiteout, so I'm taking Penn State. Neutral field, I'd take SMU, but in
Penn State.
Indiana, Notre Dame.
We already did it.
Yeah, I think we're taking Notre Dame, we're taking Indiana.
Yep.
All right, Texas, Arizona State, quarterfinals.
Texas.
Thinking Arizona State.
Just
I mean,
because he's got a Scottaboo jersey coming.
Yeah, because I kind of want to do it too, just because I don't trust Texas. Man, but their defense is good. I'm going to stick with Texas.
See, that's the thing is for me with Texas, what can you trust? And it's their defense.
Right.
And that's why.
Right.
Go Scottaboo!
Scatterboo, you don't even know.
Well, hey, if Scattaboo has a big game, then is he going to be NFL ready? Because he's going to be playing against NFL players.
Apparently. I mean, he might be. We'll see. He ain't no Derrick Henry. We'll just say that. Oregon, I guess we all got Ohio State. So, game of the year, kind of.
Um,
I'm going Oregon. Ryan Day's going to get fired. You know, what would have been nice if they had Kyle McCord right now.
dude,
We just
think
talked
about
about that.
think about Kyle McCord on what it's a wrap. We won't even talk about who's the best team in the country. It's over.
Yeah, they should. Yeah, that was bad. I'm going Oregon though too.
Yeah, Oregon.
Penn State, Boise State.
I got Boise State.
Boise State.
Man, this is a tough one. I'm gonna say Penn State wins this game. Their defense is solid, so I'm going there. Georgia, Notre Dame, Indiana.
No, Georgia.
I think Notre Dame has a chance. I don't think Indiana does. So if Notre Dame wins, you could see a good game here, but just I have to pick Georgia.
How many times have you had a good game with Notre Dame in like a semifinal game? When has that happened? Ever?
Yeah, they're better than people give them credit for. I wouldn't bet my life on it, but it wouldn't be depending on the odds you're going to give me, I would definitely take Notre Dame. I'd put some money down.
That's a tough one. I'm taking Notre Dame. It's hard.
Ride
They're
the
not
Notre
even going to
Dame
get past
train,
Indiana, so why are you guys taking Notre Dame?
dude. You say they're not going to get past Indiana, but we'll see.
Gosh,
Uh,
then Boise State has an easy road to the finals.
So championship games, or to go to the championship, then we'll have Texas, Oregon. I think we all said that.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I said Arizona State.
All
Oh,
right.
that's right. So Arizona State, Oregon, or Texas, Oregon.
Well, I'm taking Oregon.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
still think I have to ride with
You
Oregon
died
here.
for State right there.
I don't know. Texas's offense can do it. And so here we've got Georgia, Notre Dame, Boise State,
Penn State.
Penn State. Let's throw them all in. I think Georgia beats Penn State in this game.
You said Notre Dame beat Georgia, though.
No, I didn't. I said I
I
wanted
did.
them.
Oh, okay.
I was sticking with Georgia.
All right.
West came in with Notre Dame. But I'm saying Georgia beats Penn State in this game.
Yeah, I have Georgia beating Boise State, but I have Boise State beating Notre Dame. If it's the other
So
way
if
around.
it's Notre Dame, you're going to take Boise State. But if it's
Yeah.
Georgia,
Dude, I'm so confused right now. Okay.
Well, Wes, you have Notre Dame, Boise State in this game.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. I got to pick Notre Dame.
Nice, dude. So Wes has got Notre Dame, Oregon in the championship.
Yep.
I got Georgia, Oregon.
Yeah, Georgia, Oregon, or if it's Notre Dame, Boise State, Oregon, and then Boise State wins the national championship.
Oh, so if it's Boise State, Oregon, Derek's taking Boise State.
Yeah,
But Oregon, Georgia, which
I'm
is
taking Georgia.
so man, okay. And then Wes, you got Notre Dame, Oregon. What are you taking?
What I'm taking, dude. You know I'm taking Oregon.
All right.
But they have to beat Notre Dame.
And I got Oregon, Georgia, and I'm taking Georgia.
But
I would love Oregon to win it, but I don't trust Dan Lanning, dude. I don't.
You don't trust their defense? They look great this last
They've
week.
got good players, dude, but when your coach makes stupid decisions,
But
you
here,
lose big games.
what's surprising about Gabriel, it seems like in years past, the ball falls the wrong way for the Ducks. And I watched
But it's
that game
fallen
on
the right
Friday.
way this year.
I'm like, you guys aren't going to lose to Penn State, right?
They made it close.
And
They tried to lose.
they tried to lose, yeah, and they couldn't.
All right,
Yeah.
here, I'm gonna pause for a second, guys.
They're not going to play like that again.
So wrapping up the picks, though, we've got Wes. So you got Oregon. I have Oregon losing to Georgia, so I got Georgia. Derek, you got Georgia unless Oregon plays Boise State.
Derek has conditions.
Well, you never know any given day, right? I mean, some teams match up better against other teams, is what I'm saying.
Well, we'll see how the bracket plays out there. Overall, I do think Georgia has a good chance of getting to the championship game.
And just think about it though. Like every year we fill out brackets for March Madness, right? And every year you're like, oh, this team's good. But then they go up against a team that totally has something about them that has their number. It's not always about who's the best team. It's about what teams you have to play.
Right.
So we could have Arizona State SMU in the finals. Who knows?
Well, the one thing about this playoff that I believe is that this is the most equal playoffs we've had in a long time when you're talking about is there a team that stands out above everybody or a couple teams? I don't think there is. I think all of these teams play in the same league.
Yeah, all of them have flaws.
They all have flaws. That's what's weird. It's like Oregon's number one, flaws.
Yeah.
No. It's like the team I don't want to play is Georgia. But again, it's a weird year. We've had this thing before. I remember 10 years ago when it was like Alabama is so great and Ohio State went in to the Sugar Bowl and beat up on Alabama. Could be the same year.
Well, I also feel though, like for me, it's always been like anybody can lose, right? But yet Oregon is the only team that still hasn't lost.
Yeah.
So it's kind of wild to me. But I still believe that they'll choke because they have bad coaching.
Dude, you're a Dan Lanning hater.
Oh, I am.
Dan Lanning ever do to you, dude?
He called a lot of bad plays, is what he did. He made bad coaching decisions, is what he did.
Hey.
Last year against Washington, multiple times. You had a great team last year, and you could have beat Washington, and you could have been where they were.
Yeah.
And played Michigan, but yet your bad coaching puts you there.
True.
I will raise your bad coaching on Lanning and raise it to Ryan Day.
Well, I mean, that's not a question. I don't think that's a question on anybody's mind, right?
What is
the
it?
fact
$20 million roster,
dude.
Jeez. That team, that Ohio State team, if you're going to take any team top to bottom talent wise,
100% Ohio State. 100%. It's not even a question. It's not a question at all. You've got two running backs that probably are the best two running backs in the nation outside of Genty. So you've got the number 2 and number 3 running backs. You've got the wide receiver core is ridiculous.
Yeah,
and the freshman is like the best.
Yukoba and Jeremiah Smith, dude. Like, come on.
But here's why Ryan Day is the worst. Because he said, Kyle McCord, you can leave.
Right. Well, they weren't using him right in the first place, and that's Ryan Day's fault.
Right, but we'll bring in this guy Howard who sucks.
Yeah. Howard's a nice quarterback, but you would rather have Kyle McCord. It's dumb.
Or you know what? Like I was saying earlier in the season, Wes,
Dan,
got Julian saying on the
Dan,
bench.
Right.
all I'm saying is sand.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
You know?
It's disappointing what Ohio State has done with the team they have. And that's dangerous for Oregon because you are playing talent-wise probably the best team in the nation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They're going to be sitting there. But like I said, if you're going to have a bad game defensively, which Oregon did, you might as well have it now and fix. You got 3 weeks to fix the problems.
Well, here's what I will tell you though is Dylan Gabriel's better than anybody gives him credit for.
Yeah. I can't stand left
He's got
hand.
an arm he's got a rocket for an arm. But he scrambles well. You know, he makes good decisions. He's still, obviously a college football quarterback, so he's not the greatest. But if I'm going to take any quarterback right now, I'm taking Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, because if you're going to get middle pressure on him, and he gets outside the tackle box, he throws great on the run.
On the run, it's
on
crazy.
The run.
He's throwing some ropes, dude.
So you want to keep, if you're anybody that's going to play them, you want to keep him sealed in.
Right.
And you want to get that middle pressure because he's not a big guy. If you can do that, then they could be beaten.
Well, you saw a lot of tipped balls, right? Tipped at the line. And so you're right. Like if you keep him inside the tackles, inside the defensive ends, you're going to tip more balls.
I'm just banking he's going to get outside.
Right.
And it's going to kill teams. Like, it doesn't matter. You trust me, Ohio State has all the talent in the world. If he gets outside and he does what he does, like Tez is just like, it's like a video game. He's like, where's he at? You can't figure out where he's at half the time. And he finds him.
I just feel like if you have to go through Ohio State, Texas, and Georgia.
Then Georgia.
That's a lot.
That's 3 tough games, man.
It's brutal. It's a brutal. Those are 3.
Well, if you think about it, that is the toughest road, right? And you're the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
So there is cause for a complaint. Like, you can't just call these people complainers because, it's less legitimate. We just talked through the whole, bracket, right? Game by game, schedule by schedule. And where we're ending at is if you're Oregon, you got to play Ohio State, Texas, Georgia is your most likely outcome.
Yeah.
That's tough, man.
I'm talking to Oregon fans last night. And we're watching the Dallas game and what a monstrosity that was. And everyone got on me for saying, hey, you better watch out for teams like Notre Dame. And they're like, why Oregon? It's like, you can hope Oregon to victory like we've all hoped the last 20 years. We think we can. Yes, we can. Don't even have a negative thought in your head. It's like, dude, are you, look at the road they have to go through. Let's take Notre Dame out of the equation. Ohio State, Texas, Georgia. Those are the most likely opponents. That's a monstrosity of a path to win a title. You better toughen yourself up better than you did against Penn State.
But if they win it, that really helps the program.
Then if they win it, then Steve, then you have to bow down to Dan Lanning.
Yeah. Steve's gonna have to be like apologizing. Dan.
No. Yeah.
Why don't you come coach the Bears, Dan?
I'd rather have the Notre Dame coach than Dan Lanning.
Yeah, Marcus Freeman. But he's he's a defense. He's just like Lanning, though. He's a raw guy that has defense.
But so here's my pick. If you got to pick a team and get some good odds, I think you should take Notre Dame.
Oh, No, I'm already kicking myself because I was gonna do that 3 months ago. I don't get the odds anymore, man.
And Derek's is Boise State, obviously. Wes, who's yours? Not a
Well,
top team like
it is Arizona State now.
Arizona State. Yeah.
You're gonna get good odds anywhere with Arizona State right now. It's unlikely. I think they're on the radar. Everyone's gonna be like, hey, dude, don't mess with this team. You know,
I mean, I would. That's good. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with Arizona State. You think about it, they don't have the toughest road. They got to buy.
yeah.
Well, then they'd have Texas, Oregon, Georgia. Arizona State would have the worst route.
Well, Clemson wins, right? And then Tennessee beats Ohio State and Oregon. Now they're playing Tennessee.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm looking at the odds, who is Arizona State going to be favored against?
Wow.
Nobody. Clemson, maybe.
Maybe.
Clemson was ranked lower than them before the
Yeah.
championship game.
But if it's Texas, Oregon, Ohio State, or Tennessee, who's going to be?
Right. Yeah, but if you're looking for odds, like, I
Yeah.
mean, Boise State then would have what? Penn State, Georgia, Oregon.
Yeah.
That's not an easy road. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're lucky anywhere there.
But it's going to be Indiana, SMU.
Right.
Well, another thing is after everyone's complaining that the bracket came out during NFL Sunday. And it was like, why would you release it at 9 in the morning or 9:30? And then everybody's got to complain about Alabama and complain. It's like, what are we complaining about?
There
It's
should
playoff.
see when SMU lost and we were all together. The biggest fear I was how are they going to snake in Alabama?
Right.
And what have I been talking about for weeks, Steve? You can't give a team that loses their championship game, you can't knock them out
Right.
when they were supposed to be in, right? 'Cause it's the
Especially
extra
when
game.
they only lost by a field.
And it was a crazy field goal.
Yeah.
But it was in the championship game is the problem. Like we talked about this last week, which was championship games are just kind of meaningless.
The only thing that was meaningful was Clemson, right?
Right.
Because it
Yeah.
was like the automatic bid in college basketball.
Right.
They went, going through the ACC tournament and winning it
They
all.
won it.
To into the tournament.
Maryland pulls it out from, ranked 100th, whatever. Right.
Yeah.
No, I know I get that. Although overall, when you look at the teams that are in and the teams that are out, they got it right.
Yes.
The right teams are playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I want people to understand is I don't care if another team is more talented. They didn't deserve it.
Right.
No.
They didn't either win the right games, they didn't rank high enough, they didn't play the right teams.
Don't lose to 2 6-6 teams.
Yeah.
Not only that, you lost to Oklahoma and you didn't even score a touchdown a couple weeks ago. That's a problem.
Yeah.
You know what the
It's
dumbest
digging too
thing
deep,
is?
though.
The dumbest thing is that like Nick Saban and then the athletic director are like, well, Alabama needs to not play such tough teams in non-conference. Dude, it wasn't Mercer who beat you.
Right.
Mercer, you play tough teams non-conference? Really?
Yeah, they had like teams like there was another one they played. Mercer was really bad, but then they play like Murray State. I mean, there was something crazy like that.
What?
But they didn't.
You done?
Alabama did not play a tough out of conference schedule.
No, they played Wisconsin and Western Kentucky.
Western Kentucky, dude. Like,
Wait,
come on.
no. Was it? Yeah. Okay, yeah. So Western Kentucky, South Florida, Wisconsin were their other three non-conference.
Yeah, you got to do better than that. Especially if you want to get voted in,
Well, you can't lose 3 games. I mean, that's the barometer is you can lose 2. You lose 3, it doesn't matter what conference you're in, you're going to be on the bubble. We might as well just call it the bubble now. It's the same thing.
right? The Georgia win just throws off everything Alabama this year, right? They're just hanging on that Georgia win.
But like Wes said, you can't lose 24-3 to a 6-6 Oklahoma team.
Right. Or
One
you lost to
week
Vanderbilt
before.
And there is an eye test. This is the committee. This isn't a computer like the BCS. People watch it. You lose 24-3 to an opponent a couple weeks ago, it makes you look like you're not a playoff team. No.
Speaking of BCS computer stuff, we got to wrap up college football here, but here's the last thing I have. At this point, like, shouldn't we just say Georgia, Oregon, go play one game for the national championship? Like, forget all this playoff stupid stuff.
That wouldn't be fun.
No, I'm not saying it'd be fun, but wouldn't it be the right thing to do?
I don't want to go back to the 1990s.
I do.
Isn't it? I mean, I'm just saying, like, we're done with the season. Oregon, Georgia, go play, winners national champion. Let's get it done with.
Well, then you're going to have teams like, think about it. Wes, what year was it that Miami got screwed out of going to and winning a national championship, right? Because they were third in the BCS, even though they beat Florida State,
Oh,
right?
you're talking about 2001. Oklahoma, Florida State played.
Yeah.
Miami played Florida, beat Florida in the Sugar Bowl. Yeah.
Right. Or you had Notre Dame, Florida State winning a national championship, even though Notre Dame had beat them, right?
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, of course this is what everybody wants. But I'm an old school type of person. I liked it. I just like watching bowl games.
I know that the bowl games are nice.
They're fun. It's like I will always love Notre Dame and Colorado playing hungover, like 10-9, and the Rocket getting screwed out of a punt. The Phantom Clip, dude. I love those games. It's about just playing football.
Yeah, bowl games aren't exciting anymore. They're not like what they used to be.
Have you seen the bowl schedule? There's nothing I really want to see. They did.
They're all playoff games now.
No, but
the big ones.
But why can't we have Miami against Alabama in a bowl game?
Right.
You got Michigan,
Miami
Alabama
against Iowa State. I don't want to see that. I just saw Arizona State plaster Iowa State. I don't want to see Miami play them, and I certainly don't want to play Alabama versus Michigan. This is boring.
Well, because the question here is like then, so Texas, Clemson play, Arizona State, Texas play. Like, what if you put Clemson and Arizona State in like a Sugar Bowl or something?
Right. Well,
And
I will say
there
are some good games. There are some, like the Holiday Bowl, Syracuse, Washington State. That will be an interesting game.
BYU, Colorado is going to be good.
Why are they playing each other? They're in the same conference.
Oh, I didn't even see them. I thought they were independents. Oh, Derek Frank.
That's dumb.
What?
It's like, why are you playing as team in your conference?
I forgot because I keep thinking BYU's an independent.
See, that's the one. It should be Colorado, Miami. That would have been such a good. That would have been prime time.
And the Pop-Tarts. My new bowl now is the Pop-Tarts Bowl. That is my favorite bowl.
Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Where they eat the Pop-Tart at the end of the game.
You won the
It's like,
Pop-Tart, dude. It's
I
like the
think
turkey
that goes
leg.
against the keto diet there, dude.
You know the turkey leg, dude? That's the same thing. It's the Pop-Tart. So you guys are a fan then of the bigger playoff.
I don't.
But Wes is not.
I'm wait. We'll see. I'm excited to see actually the first round games because it is. Think about it.
Well,
This
do or
has
die.
never happened. It actually is gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah, those teams are playing their hearts out.
Yeah, Indiana, Notre Dame. Oh, that's a ticket.
Yeah. That's a game to go to.
Everything changes. Everything evolves. I just don't like how everyone makes a big deal out of it. It's like let's just watch and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, this is I think it's a good test, right? Although I do believe that just like in every other business world in this whole world, that they'll have this great test, they'll see what it goes like, and they'll still screw it up. They'll be like, "Oh, these things went wrong, but let's not change them."
Well, they've already talking about changing it because Alabama not getting in. They want to make it 16 teams by
Well,
2026.
that's what, yeah, and that's the
But
thing. It's like they change. It's like you don't change it for the things that'll help it get better. They're just gonna keep messing with it to get it worse and worse and worse, and then it'll be the NBA playoffs.
I will say this, and I agree with Wes. Nothing was better. Remember, Steve, when I woke you up at like 7 o'clock in the morning, New Year's Day, and I was like, let's go watch more football. Hungover, and then just going to watch football all day.
Yeah,
dude,
because that was the best, and they were just bowl games, but
there's
against
bowl
like
games.
teams that earned the right to be in those bowls.
There are still some harkening back to the old days. What I think the Citrus Bowl is South Carolina, Illinois. I mean, there's a few of the old school bowls.
They brought back the Gator Bowl. It's like
Yeah.
now it's the Gator Bowl again.
Well, but I don't want the Rose Bowl to be a playoff game, is what I'm saying. I want the
Yeah.
Rose Bowl to be like, the two teams that are
It-
fighting for it every year.
but you still got the Alamo Bowl, the Independence Bowl, the Sun Bowl, the Citrus Bowl, the Gator Bowl.
Yeah,
The
they're. I don't want them to get rid of the bowls. That's my whole thing. It's like you can incorporate this into the bowl system. You
And
know,
here's one. Get rid of the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, and you bring back the Humanitarian Bowl.
Yeah, that's what you need. I mean, people love potatoes more than they
you
love
heard it now,
humanitarians.
everybody.
Humanitarian Bowl was awesome, wasn't it? We went to one, Wes.
Dude, it was so effing cold, but it was awesome.
Not no potato bowl.
All right, well let's jump over to NFL recap. Man, none of my
Boo.
swing games worked out this week, so this season's
Oh,
over.
it's okay, Steve. I predicted I was gonna call it Apocalypse Sunday, where all the favorites lost, and I lost instead.
Yeah, well, I think Derek's wrapped up the season
No,
here.
it's over. Let's give Derek the trophy right now.
We had
But look,
134 and 74.
yeah, after this week, right?
Dude, I picked the Browns. I keep seeing the Jameis Winston videos. I was like, what were they thinking, dude?
You never know what you're going to get with
You
Jameis.
don't. That's why I said I'm like, you never. It's Dr. Jekyll. And this, it's like you don't know.
Well, I mean, so Rams Buffalo, we all lost that one, I think.
No, I got the Rams. I picked them.
Yeah, so in normal picks, we all lost the Rams Buffalo. That was a crazy game, though. Josh Allen had 6 touchdowns.
Who was it, McVay or McDermott at the post game? He played like that. He's like, dude, he's an alien because he is. That's just dumb.
So
6 touchdowns.
here's a funny stat for you guys.
And they lost.
Yeah.
OJ Simpson, Terrell Davis, right? Hall of Fame running backs, both of them. 60 touchdowns, 61 touchdowns rushing. Josh Allen, quarterback, 62 touchdowns rushing.
Yeah.
The big one was I couldn't believe OJ only had 60.
Yeah, 60. But that's crazy, right?
Yeah. And he's still young.
28.
He's young, but
He's gonna have more rushing touchdowns than Emmitt Smith.
yeah. But I will say it kind of felt you're running them a 1 yard line and you have to take a timeout. That, and they're trying to do Philadelphia, tush push, all this stuff. It's like, man,
Well, what was it though? Was it really, you know, did the Rams just have better offense? Like, why were they even in that position against the Rams? Like, you're
they ex-
down multiple touchdowns late in the game.
well, they expose. I mean, the Bills are exposed. Their interior defense is light, like the Cowboys are light, and so teams are going to expose that now. But Puka Nacua is stupid. I mean, the way he plays, and Stafford is such a good. He knows how to distribute the football the way it needs to be distributed. He's such a smart quarterback. They had a great game. I don't think they'll put up points like that ever again this season. They just had a really good game. They were on their game, and the Bills had to play catch up, and they couldn't.
Yeah, Kyron Williams ran 29 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were in let's get out of here mode at the end. That's why the Bills came back.
Yeah.
If they would have kept the foot on the gas, it wouldn't have been close.
Yeah, they probably would have won by multiple touchdowns.
Yeah. You can,
but that was, for me, that was a big surprise, right? I really expected Buffalo to win that game.
well, when everyone thinks a team's so great, that's when they get exposed. They got exposed. They're light on the defensive front and the linebacker position. They play a lot of nickel, and then you run and you force them up, and they're deep. They're just playing, just like most teams in the NFL. It's a patchwork defense. There isn't a great defense anymore in the NFL. It's patchwork. They just want to get enough stops so their offense can outscore the other team. That's what the Buffalo Bills are.
Yeah. Well, and then you speak of this game, we talk about this game, but Bills Rams. Rams had to win this game because Seattle goes to 8-5. And beating Arizona again.
Yeah.
So now Arizona's out for them because they have a 2-game lead on them and a 2-game tiebreaker. So the Rams are 7-6. Seattle goes to 8-5, beating the Cardinals. That was also a surprise for me.
I knew the Seahawks would beat the Cardinals because watching the game the first time, the Seahawks defensive line just gave Arizona fits. So I knew it wasn't going to be. Their offense couldn't do anything against the Seahawks defense.
Well, and then you lose Kenneth Walker, and Charbonneau comes and runs for 150 yards, dude.
Yeah.
So that was, and then Philly Carolina was an interesting game because does that speak to like Philly's resilience, or that they're just not that good and playing a close game against Carolina.
I think it's Carolina's a trap game. They're not. Carolina is feisty, I mean, look, they played the Chiefs tough too, right?
Right down to the
I feel
end.
like the Eagles thought, oh, okay, we got an easy game this week, and then they didn't really, and they're like, oh shoot, this is actually something we should pay attention to.
It's too late, by the time you start playing, it's a game now. Oh, Chicago, San Francisco. Like there's a stat that I got to talk about because the Bears had 4 yards at halftime.
I was like, what?
4.
Yep. That's the last time I'll pick the Bears this season.
They punted more times than they had yards. So they had 5 punts, 4 yards.
Caleb Williams was sacked 7 times. But here's the thing, Purdy was 20 of 25
Right.
for 325 yards. It's like they just decided not to even show
Like
up.
they just quit. Right.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Sunday night Kansas City Chargers game?
No, I don't want to talk about it.
Dude.
No. Dude,
How does
I don't
Kansas
know if I
City
can watch another Kansas City
doing
game.
it? Like, how do they keep doing it?
No. Why? Because teams are stupid. Like, you put a spy on Patrick Mahomes. You spy him. You don't allow him to run. If he throws it on you, congratulations. But he runs the last drive. You know he's going to run. Spy him.
Yeah, he broke it out. I mean, ran down, put him in position to, get a couple first downs and win the game.
It was lame. It was such a boring game. They're the most boring Super Bowl champion ever.
The Chargers, though. So here's the problem I have with Justin Herbert. How many passes did he miss?
Wide open.
Wide open.
But he's great. He's one of the best quarterbacks ever.
Dumb.
He's never done anything.
Palmer is wide open.
Dude, wide open. Multiple times.
Here's the thing. I don't care if maybe you underthrow Palmer and he only gets 50 yards and he gets tackled.
Right.
But it's better than 0. Because he overthrew the dude. He's wide open. And I'm like, you're such a great arm talent. How can you not hit that dude? Aiden McConnell would have hit him.
I don't know if we go that far. Let's just relax a little bit, Wes. No, but he missed so many. And, it's funny because you think about last year before, a lot of the games you watch the Chargers, you see Herbert miss those passes. It kind of worries me because Caleb Williams all year has been throwing those same passes 2 or 3 yards over the receiver's hands. Too far in front, too high, too low.
Well,
So that was pretty rough. But I still think the Chargers should have won that game.
of course. Just like the week before, the Kansas City. Every week, Kansas City should lose and they win, and everyone celebrates, and they have to watch the stupid Hallmark Chiefs Christmas preview. Dude, I'm showing people that today, and they didn't know it existed. I go, no, there is a Chiefs Hallmark movie. I'm not joking. Have you guys looked it up?
Maybe.
No, you're scared. Trust me. Be afraid.
Well, let's see. How many Chiefs games? Let's see. The last 2 games, they won by 2 points. previous game they won by 3 points, and then they lost.
Oh,
So 3 of the last 4 games they've won by 3 or less, and then lost one of them. And the Broncos before that was a 2-point game.
The last two have been 19-17, both of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2, 2, 3, and then a
Lost
2,
2.
and then yeah. They haven't really. They need the Niners by 10 and the Saints by 13.
Well, they got
But
Browns, Texans, Steelers, Broncos. It's not a particularly easy schedule. They should beat the Browns, but Texans, Steelers, Broncos, they all have the ability to beat them.
well, here's the thing: is what really does help them is Pachenko's back.
Right. That is a
So
big
they
difference.
they can ride him, and he is such an important piece of their offense.
Right.
Because Travis Kelce looks like he is like someone killed his dog on the sideline. Like
Dude,
he looks
so
so
bad.
depressed, and he's not really actively involved anymore. He caught the pass at the end of the game, and they're hugging each other like, "Oh yeah, you're great. Oh yeah, you're a Hall of Famer." But you're not playing. I guess we have to wait for the playoffs for Travis Kelce to play. But Pachenko, he's kind of the glue of that offense. They're going to ride him.
yeah,
Oh, I have no clue. The Chiefs Hallmark movie does exist, Eric.
I don't want to know about it. I don't want to know about it.
Nobody does.
I got too many Christmas
We
movies to
will
watch.
have to face it. I showed my friend this today, and he's like, "This is the worst thing I've ever seen, dude." Andy Reid's in it. And it says, brought to you by Hallmark and the NFL. We should make a Raiders movie.
No, it's brought to you by Pfizer.
We're going to make a Raiders holiday movie.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
By Pfizer.
So, before I stepped away, you're talking about Travis Kelce. Does it not look like this guy is running half speed?
He's saving himself for the playoffs.
Yeah, it's what he did last year.
If you watch him play, he's not playing full speed. He's not playing as hard as this guy can play.
Oh.
So I just wonder what's going on there.
He's too old.
Well,
he's an athlete though, dude, and he's not getting open, dude. He's running horrible routes. He's half blocking.
Maybe him and Taylor are having problems. Maybe
I've lost a lot of respect for Travis Kelce. That's all I'm saying. As a football player.
Well,
in life, he's winning. He's done a good job for himself. But you know what? As a tight end who we thought was going to be the best ever, unstoppable for the rest of his life, he's fallen off.
Well, he's got other things more important now.
Right.
Well, I mean, he is 35.
Yeah. I think we're seeing what happened last year. He will be ready for the playoffs. And that's what it is now. I mean,
think he's just saving himself.
No, when you're a two-time Super Bowl champion, and I will give
3-time, 2-time.
Well, I'm just saying 2 in a row. It's a 3-time, but what I'm saying is the back-to-back.
Right.
They want to go for the 3-peats. Never happened.
Right.
And so
you need him healthy.
It's like it's like the Karate Kid Part 3. Remember? Where Daniel doesn't have to compete till the end,
Right. You just wait till the end to
It was
compete.
the dumbest movie ever. But it's like the same thing, dude.
It's kind of a good point though, because they keep winning when they shouldn't be winning.
It just brought the party apart.
Uh, all right, well let's get into our picks this week. So, geez, we're in week 15.
No. Almost
The
over.
season's going to be over here shortly. And we got a little time to catch up with Derek. So if it doesn't happen
No,
in
it's
next
alright.
2 weeks, like we're done.
You're maybe used to it, but
All right, Thursday night game. Rams at 49ers. Derek, what do you got?
I'm going with the Rams. I'm going on Wes's bandwagon here. I'm taking the Rams. I think last week was a misnomer that the 49ers were back because they were playing the crappy Bears. So I'm going to take the Rams here.
Wes?
yeah, I'm taking the Rams too. I'm not, it's going to be close. It's going to be a battle. I just think they're gonna gut out a win. So
Yeah, San Francisco's the favorite too.
I don't know.
Yeah, I see the Rams coming off the big Buffalo win, trying to stay, relevant for the division. Rams have to win this game. But San Francisco has to win too, so you will see a different San Francisco team, but I'm still taking the Rams. All right, Kansas City at Cleveland. Wes, what you got? You gonna take Cleveland again?
Where are they playing?
At Cleveland.
Dude. I really want to, and I hope Cleveland wins, but I'm taking Kansas City by default. Something strange will happen, like usual. They'll let Patrick Mahomes run all over the place at the end of the game when he's going to run. And Kansas City will win by 3.
Well, I'm taking Cleveland.
Ooh. Ooh.
At
Well, they are going to
home,
the Super Bowl.
Jameis Winston throws for 300 plus yards.
Oh, jeez, dude.
Well, if they would have got rid of Watson a lot earlier,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, I think Cleveland.
I agree with you, Steve. Jameis Winston will throw for 300 yards, but he'll also have like 5 interceptions. I'm taking the Chiefs here.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, I knew it was a swing game. That's why I'm taking it. Cincinnati at Tennessee. This is a tough game. Cincinnati 5-point favorite. I'm going to take Cincinnati here. Too much offense. In Tennessee, just they've given up. That's why they're starting Will Levis.
Will Levis is their future. Yeah, I'm taking the Bengals also. The Bengals' biggest weakness is their defense, and Tennessee has no offense, so I'm taking the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Joey B here, and Jamar Chase. Tennessee's terrible, and I picked them last week, and I regret it. So
I think we
Well, I
all
need
did.
them to have a big game. You got the fantasy football coming up, so let's see. Washington Commanders at the New Orleans Saints. Derek, what do you got?
I got the Commanders here. I don't know. I think Carr's out, so you're gonna have like
Rattler?
I think it's Hayner. I think that's who they're going with. It's not gonna be pretty. So hopefully Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin have a big game for Wes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm taking the Commanders because my whole fantasy football life depends on it. And I had Derek Carr as my backup last week, and he gave me 10 points, and I lost. So,
Wait, he did get hurt, so it wasn't really.
boo. He's fine.
Yeah, I gotta take the Commanders here too. I don't. New Orleans has nothing to play for. Commanders are still trying to play, to make sure they get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I don't see how you can't take Commanders here. Baltimore at the Giants. Wes, I mean, this is a
Oh,
tough one, dude. What are
again,
you gonna do here?
I picked the Giants last week. That worked out real well. I'm taking Baltimore. They're gonna smoke the Giants.
Yeah, I got them by 14. What do you got there?
I mean, the Ravens coming off a bye against the Giants. Come on, man. The Ravens need the win too.
Yeah, they do,
They do have to win this game.
and they will.
Oh, you know what? Is the line's 14 and a half?
Yeah.
Damn it. I might have to take him to beat that, even though I said 14. Maybe 17? All right, let's see. Dallas, Carolina. This is a tough game. I am picking Dallas here. I think Dallas needs to win more than Carolina. Everybody expects Carolina to lose. What's his name? Fighting for his job, McCarthy.
Yeah.
Uh, Dallas has to win this game. So I'm going Dallas.
Yeah, I'm taking Dallas also. Cooper Rush looked a little better this last week. I can't believe, though, Jerry Jones came out and said, "Oh, we're not going to start Trey Lance at all." Why? You're not making the playoffs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you at least give him a chance?
And that's just the ineptitude of Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm all for it. I'm happy for it because I'm glad with them being bad.
Because nobody likes the Cowboys.
Except for Laker fans.
Except all the million of Cowboys fans.
Well, except for Laker and Yankee fans, right? Isn't that how it is? Cowboys, Lakers, Yankees fans.
They're all the same.
This is Dallas's Super Bowl. Like this is where Cowboy fans can jump up and down when they beat the lowly Carolina Panthers. And in their mind, they're like, we just won the Super Bowl. It's like, congratulations, you beat Carolina, so I'm taking Dallas.
That's true. Let's see here. The Jets at Jacksonville, another fun
Whoa.
pick here. Derek, what do you got?
Yeah, man. I'm going to take the Jets. I need them to win more so they won't go for a quarterback early. Although the Jags have Wes's favorite player on their team, so Mac Jones. But yeah, I'm taking the Jets.
Yeah, he's on the all hate team. So I'm taking the Jets too. Aaron Rodgers is backup to Mac Jones on the all hate team. So
Yeah,
I'm actually rooting for Aaron Rodgers. I feel stupid.
I don't see the Jags winning this game. So, although the Jets are, why do they want to win?
Oh, it's a tough game for me because Braylon Allen is on my bench and he's starting to run the ball.
Right. You might want to stick and put him in there.
He's a flex player here.
All right, this is a good game. Miami, Houston. What do you got there, Wes?
I gotta go with Houston. Miami's a nice story, I guess. Tua is alive and he's still sane and but I think Houston is going to rally. They'll beat the Dolphins barely.
Yeah, they're at home.
Yeah.
And I am taking Miami because I don't believe in Houston anymore. Um, they don't necessarily need to win this game to win the division, but Miami is they're back at full strength, and they're going to beat Houston.
And I agree with Steve. I'm taking Houston, or I'm taking Miami. Uh, Tyreek Hill finally had a big game, so maybe they're going to start having him. They have like he hasn't played well at all this year, so now him and Tua back together. Texans, besides Mixon, has been a very underwhelming team. So yeah, I'm taking the Dolphins.
Man, let's hope for a swing game there, but that might be good for Wes. Indianapolis at Denver. I'm gonna go Denver here at home. I don't trust Indianapolis a lot. Denver's the favorite. I think they'll cover.
Yeah, Denver at home, coming off a bye. Sean Payton's going to be ready. I'm taking Denver too. I like the Colts. They might. I mean, this one it wouldn't surprise me either way, but that's the problem with the Colts. It wouldn't surprise me any way they go, but that's I can't trust what they're going to do.
Right. But will Anthony Richardson have a rushing touchdown? That's the big question.
Yes.
Okay. I'm betting on that. Wes, what do you got there?
Denver.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Boo. Here's the game of the week, maybe the year. Buffalo at Detroit. Derek, what do you got?
Well, like Wes was talking about earlier, you kind of found the Bills' weakness is the middle of their defense, and that's what the Lions do best is in the middle of the running up the middle, throwing over the middle. So I'm taking the Lions here at home.
Lions 2.5. Wes, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm taking the Lions too because of that fact. They're going to run on them and then expose them deep and middle. And St. Brown's got a big game. So, and Josh is going to score, but no.
Good. I got a swing game because I'm taking Buffalo. I think Buffalo is upset over losing to the Rams, and their receivers are going to actually come to play. And that's where I don't believe the most in Detroit is in their secondary. So I'm taking Buffalo here by a lot.
Nice. I mean, yeah.
Here's another good one. Pittsburgh at Philadelphia. Wes, what do you got?
Ooh. Taking Philadelphia. Yeah.
At
I
home.
yeah, it's a home game. It's gonna be close.
This was a tough one for me because outside of Saquon, I'm not super happy with Philadelphia. I think Pittsburgh's defense is way better than everybody's giving them credit for. So I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh here. You get points, but I still got them winning by a field goal.
Yeah.
This one I went back and forth on
Oh,
because they've who was it, Brandon Graham coming out saying that Hurts and AJ Brown don't get along, and then he came back out and said, "I'm sorry that was mistaken," and all this lots of drama, and then Philly's at home, but come on, man. Pittsburgh's what, 2 hours away?
It's not necessarily a home game.
Yeah, but I'm still taking Philly here because Pittsburgh's got to lose at some point. They're not, I don't, they're a good team. They're not a 9-3 team.
You gotta lose at some point. Which is like Kansas City. We keep saying it, but they keep winning.
Yeah, Kansas City though just does that always though. It's annoying.
All right, New England at Arizona. I got Arizona here at home. Don't see any reason why you need to lose New England right here and kill your chances at a playoff. So Arizona covering.
Yeah, I agree. I got Arizona covering also. There shouldn't be, like you said, there should be no reason to lose to the Patriots.
Yeah. Arizona wins.
Let's see. Tampa at the Chargers. What do you got here, Derek?
Oh, I'm taking the Chargers here. Chargers have the number one or their number one scoring defense in the NFL. So,
Least amount of points too.
yeah. So I'm going to go with the Chargers here. It's at home. Bucks have to go across country to go there, so I'm taking the Chargers to cover.
What do you got, Wes?
Taking the Chargers.
Yeah, I think it's hard to argue with that. I think exactly what you're saying there. You got a better running team at home, better defense. Chargers got to win this. Green Bay at Seattle. This might be the most interesting game of the week. Wes, what do you think about that?
Taking the Packers. Yeah. I mean,
In
Seattle,
Seattle.
they're on a little run, but I just think Packers find a way to win.
Yeah, I'd like to say that, but I'm taking the Seahawks because I hate the Packers. But at home, I think this is a toss-up game to be honest. Um, both teams are good and bad at multiple times throughout the year. At home, Seattle, you got to win this game. So I'm taking Seattle.
I'm taking Seattle also. I just can't. I don't know how many times I've had to be stuck watching the Packer games. How many times, like Jordan Love will throw the ball 40 times, and half of them will be off his back foot. The dude never even sits in the pocket. He throws off his back foot more than any quarterback in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculously. It's like I'm like, oh, there's off back
Dude,
foot. It's like, dude,
It's dangerous.
yeah, and that's what's happens. Seattle's got a pretty, they got Witherspoon out there. They got some DBs that
Kobe
can.
Bryant. Dude, you got a guy
Yes,
named Kobe Bryant. Come
Kobe.
on. Yeah, I agree. Let's see here. This is me. Chicago at Minnesota. I'm taking the Bears.
what?
Taking them all year, Wes. Taking them. Probably cost me 8 games, but I'm
Fucking
taking them.
Zero just threw 5 touchdowns in the game.
Nope. Bears are winning.
Yeah, I was not on the Vikings. I thought they would have but Sam Darnold looks for real, so I'm taking the Vikings here.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know. Yes, I'll take the Vikings too.
Of course, you're taking the Vikings. Come on, dude. Oh, here you guys go. So we both finished with our teams on Monday night, which is stupid because now we don't get to watch either of them. Atlanta at the Raiders. There.
Oh, yeah, I'm taking the Falcons.
Oh,
Um, it's a Desmond Ritter revenge game, but I don't see it. This is This is
Desmond for a binge game.
this is where it's gonna be. This is how it always is Kirk Cousins looks like crap. And he's gonna go out and throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Dude, he's going for 500.
Dude, you guys haven't figured it out. I mean, Michael Penix, baby, in the game. Penix.
No, this is the game where everyone's like, "Oh no, Kirk Cousins isn't that bad."
Oh, jeez.
It might be.
Yeah, he's that bad, but they are playing the Raiders. And, I'm taking the Falcons.
Yeah, you got to take the Falcons here. Yeah, unfortunately, because Falcons are not good either, but the Raiders are real bad. They're like the Bears bad. So we were all going Falcons there. All right, well, that wraps up that week. Derek still got a big lead. It's like 12 games now.
Yeah.
Wes, you got a 1 game lead on me.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
What?
Yeah. Unfortunately. And Holly has a 10 game lead on all of us.
Dude. Okay, Holly has to be on the podcast next week.
She just takes the favorite every time. That's, when you're not betting the money line, it doesn't matter. You're always going to win. So that's where we're at right now. We'll see how we finish up here in the next couple of weeks. Podcast fantasy football. So we'll talk about that. So all three of us are in the playoffs. So it's a 14 playoff. You got Wes playing Tom, me playing Derek. So what we really need here is Wes, you got to win.
Yeah. Pressure's on Wes.
All right.
If Wes, you don't win, you're letting someone that's not in the podcast get into the finals.
Now, you guys want to trade me a couple players? I mean,
no, we won't cheat to win.
No, it's just, now it's just which receivers do I, kind of plug and play here.
Well, so let's talk about that going into these fantasy football playoffs, which I've always hated because you're running into this time where you don't know who's playing, who's trying to win games, who's trying to tank, what players might be sitting. Like, how do you navigate that as a manager, a fantasy football manager? Like, how do you decide who you start, who you don't, who you might pick up off waivers?
Yeah, it's always I liked it better when I've been in some leagues where they ended like the week before the end of the season.
Yeah.
Because this is let's say the Chiefs, right? Let's say the Chiefs win today and Bills lose. Don't the Chiefs clinch the home field
Yeah.
already?
It's over for them. So they're gonna sit Mahomes maybe the last 2 games, or at least 1.5. So if Mahomes has been holding you, or been your quarterback, that hurts.
Or like a DeAndre Hopkins or a Pacheco or a Kelsey. I know you're not high on Kelsey, but
Well, for me,
he's
like
still a top 10 tight end,
what's Burrow and Chase's motivation now?
right?
Well, they are playing the Titans. So, I mean, I think Burrow is just angry now. You could just tell he's angry. And Chase is probably angry too. He's like, that's the way they're playing.
Will they continue that for the next 4 weeks, though?
Yeah, well, my situation is Rome is on my bench. He gave me 20 points
Right.
against the Niners. And that's my dilemma is like, am I going to switch in Rome now?
Well, Rome's going to get a lot of looks here. because this is the end of the season. It's over, season's over, but you want to like see what you have, so you throw the ball more.
Yeah.
But
Well, you
that's
also got McLaurin on your bench though, too, Wes.
Wow, that's awful.
but it's the opposite of like Detroit and Buffalo, or teams that are or the Vikings. They may not use Jefferson and Addison, or St. Brown, as much as they would. So what do you do? Do you rely on guys from like free agency, or do you go with your starters?
Well, that's why you try and get as many backups as you can so you can.
Yeah. So you can be indecisive like I am. Because,
But are your backups better than your starters? That's the question.
well, yeah. Waddle hasn't done anything for me all year until last week. So that's my big dilemma is, do I take out Waddle for Rome? Or McLaurin's gonna start. But that's my dilemma.
Well, they're
Waddle.
still in a battle, right? So those are good starts, right? Because they're still in the thick of things.
Yeah.
So,
The
wouldn't
problem
you
is for
rather
us
take
who
out?
have these teams who, may have clinched, or just their season's over.
So, wouldn't it be like, because I'm looking at your roster, Rome or Jamison Williams?
Well, Jameson hasn't had the best last couple weeks. That's tough because
Consistency's not there.
he just might blow up. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a chunk player. He gets his yards in chunks.
Yeah,
You know?
30 yard
Yeah.
catches.
That's the problem.
But you get a couple of those and you're scoring well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting though that we wrapped up the playoffs so early, and then this is the first time all three of us have been in the playoffs.
Playoff.
And point of fact, we have not won a championship yet.
No.
So we got to win this time.
Well, Steve, you've made the playoffs each year, right?
Yeah. But then that's what happens to me every time is my players are great, but then, they're all sitting, and I'm having to start backups, and my backups just aren't strong or don't have good games.
Yeah. Or like what I'm afraid for Wes is Tom's got Saquon and Josh Allen.
Right.
Those two could just ruin a week.
Yeah, he's got a deep team, so it's gonna be tough to beat. So
But
if you have
Wes,
to
you
pick a
have to.
winner right now, let's pick our HSC podcast fantasy football winner.
What?
Who's gonna win between the four of us? You, me, Derek, Tom.
Hmm.
What's your prediction?
Probably Tom.
So negative, dude. I'm picking myself. I'm picking me to win.
No. Yeah. I I would say Steve too, just because Burrow and Chase, they're not going anywhere. They're not sitting. They're angry. They're gonna play angry.
So we got Derek picking Tom, and me and Wes picking me.
No.
That means Derek's probably gonna win. All right, well, big week here. We had conference championships, got the playoff weeks coming up. NFL's wrapping up the season. Looks like Derek is going to win the win-loss for the year. So if you win the fantasy, Derek, you could
Trifecta.
hit the double header there.
I know. I'll have to get my like Ruxin did when he did the fantasy football shuffle.
I'm going to Red Lobster. We're taking Derek to Red Lobster.
Going to Red Lobster.
Hey, all you can eat shrimp or something, that's keto.
Right. Except their biscuits are horrible now.
Are they? I haven't been to Red. I have one. We have one down here, but I haven't been to Red Lobster in probably like 5 years.
Right. Yeah, that one's not far from you guys. That one's decent actually. Because it's out in the country. That's the problem, right?
What's sad is we live in the Pacific Northwest, but we don't really have any great seafood places.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird you can't get good seafood when you live next to the ocean.
And then if you go to a seafood place, the prices are insane. It's like, dude, I'm not in the Midwest. We should have cheaper seafood prices here.
No, we're giving them to like the freaking like people on the border, dude. I mean, that's just like potatoes. Have you gone and looked at potatoes? We live next to Idaho. Why do our potatoes look like freaking like aliens? Like they're weird.
Why are you getting potatoes, Wes? We're supposed to not be eating potatoes right now.
Boo.
Well, we'll wrap it up here with the Keto Challenge then. So we talked about the HSC Podcast Keto Challenge. Where are we at?
Steve, you crushed it. You won.
No, I'm only like 25, 26.
I'm, I think I'm now at 20 because of Thanksgiving and
You're
you
part
tricking me into eating potatoes at your house the other day.
Great.
Oh yeah, I gained 2 from this weekend. That was rough. But I think we'll go till Christmas. I think Christmas is the cutoff.
Okay,
So we still
Wes, now
got
it's time
time.
to stop buying potatoes.
Alien potatoes. Let's
I
get
will
that
tell you
straight.
what, one thing that's annoying with keto is eggs are so freaking expensive right now.
Right.
$5. I just bought eggs this morning. $5 eggs.
Yeah, if you want, pasture raised as well, it's really expensive, which sucks. But for everybody listening, it's good for you. Buy your pasture raised eggs.
Yes, kids.
Yes, kids. Don't eat the processed food. Red dye number 5, no good.
That's what all growing boy needs.
Yeah, or yellow dye number 5, right? That's a
Yep.
Die Hard.
Twinkies, whatever growing boy needs.
Right. All right, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, like, give us any comments. Man, I cannot wait for I know we talked a lot of crap about the college playoffs, but still think it's gonna be fun to watch and interesting to see how it plays out. And if it's Boise State or Oregon, Oregon's gonna win, just so you know.
No.
All right, we'll see you next time.